In a small, sunlit apartment overlooking a busy city street, a young man named Evan found himself caught in the invisible grasp of self-doubt. The world outside moved fast. Cars streamed by, people hurried along, everyone seemingly certain of their purpose and place. Yet, inside his four walls, Evan felt stagnant, as though he'd pressed pause on his own life. Each morning he would wake to the same reminders: a crowded desk with unfinished work, an overflowing inbox, and a worn-out mirror that reflected his anxious uncertainty. There was little in Evan's life that hinted at the possibility of transformation. He had drifted through his early 20s, holding jobs he felt indifferent toward, forging friendships that flickered but never set a lasting flame. He was searching, always searching, for inspiration, for direction, for a spark to ignite the belief that he was capable of more. One rainy afternoon, as thunder grumbled and the city was wrapped in silvery gloom, Evan wandered into a dusty second-hand bookshop. The shop was a labyrinth of stories and forgotten wisdom, its shelves crowded with battered titles. It was here, by chance or fate, that Evan discovered a slim volume by Jim Rohn, a name he had only vaguely heard before. The cover promised insight into success and the art of living well. Curiosity overcame him, and he bought the book for the cost of a coffee. That evening, he curled up in his favorite chair and let Jim Rohn's words wash over him. "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better," the author wrote. "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Another line leapt out: "If you don't like how things are, change it. You're not a tree." Evan read late into the night, pausing often to consider what these sentences meant. For the first time in a long while, he felt an ember of hope. Rohn's words were concise, almost deceptively simple, yet they shimmered with possibility. Evan realized that he had been waiting for the world to change around him, waiting for certainty to simply appear. It had not occurred to him that the transformation must begin with himself. The next morning, driven by newfound motivation, Evan wrote his favorite quotes in bold letters on scraps of paper. He tacked them to his bedroom wall above his desk, forming an eclectic collage, a fortress of inspiration he called his quote wall. Every day he added new snippets of wisdom, drawing not only from Rohn, but also from other thinkers whose words moved him. Autopilot mornings became intentional rituals. Instead of scrolling through his phone, he stood before his wall and read his chosen quote aloud. "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day." At first, the words felt foreign, distant from his reality, but repetition has power, and a strange thing began to happen. The more Evan absorbed these principles, the more he noticed subtle ripples in his behavior. When he felt tempted to procrastinate, he would recall, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment," and find himself tackling small tasks, just one at a time. When negative thoughts crept in, he challenged them with, "You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight." What began as passive inspiration became active intention. He set small, manageable goals: to wake up 30 minutes earlier, to exercise, to learn a new skill, and to reach out to people who shared his desire for growth. Each time he managed a victory, no matter how insignificant, he added another quote to the wall. It became a living chronicle of his journey, a visual testament to the transformation of inner mindset into outer action. People around Evan started to notice subtle but unmistakable changes. His posture straightened. He made more eye contact and asked thoughtful questions. He listened with genuine curiosity, seeking to learn from every interaction. At his workplace, he volunteered for projects he once would have avoided. Challenges that had triggered anxiety were now approached with patient determination, guided by the words he had internalized. "Don't join an easy crowd. You won't grow. Go where the expectations and the demands to perform are high." Gradually, Evan began to understand that discipline and consistency were not punishments, but gifts he gave to himself. He realized that the voice dictating his actions was no longer that of uncertainty, but the encouraging echo of his quote wall. The words he once recited out of desperation became a chorus of self-belief. His friends, sensing a deeper change, turned to him for advice. Evan shared not just the quotes, but the story of how reading them daily emboldened him to take tangible steps forward. The apartment, once cluttered with unfinished dreams, transformed with him. His desk held not just work, but plans and projects in motion. The clutter vanished, replaced by journals, books, and a carefully curated wall of wisdom. Each quote served as both a memory and a milestone, an ever-expanding record of how a thought can blossom into action, and how consistent action becomes a new way of living. Years passed, and Evan's life flourished in unexpected ways. He found work that played to his strengths, connecting him with people who valued growth and learning. He embraced health and fitness, facing each small setback as a lesson rather than a defeat. Most importantly, he learned to seek out and offer wisdom generously, paying it forward to those who, like him, once felt lost in self-doubt. From time to time, Evan met others searching for a path through the fog of uncertainty. He would listen, then share his story, not as a blueprint, but as a testament to the power of words turned into action. For Evan had discovered a truth. Inspiration alone is fleeting, but when words are internalized and acted upon, they shape not only our choices, but our character. The right words, repeated often, become the architecture for a life rebuilt from within. Evan's quote, "Wall never ceased to grow, each addition a seed for tomorrow, a signature of his ongoing journey." The lesson became clear, etched not just on paper, but on his heart. Words have the power to define perception, and perception molds reality. But it is action, rooted in intention and nurtured by repetition, that brings dreams to life. So, as the sun once again poured through the window, illuminating his patchwork wall of wisdom, Evan paused to reflect. Growth, he understood, is not a single leap, but 1,000 deliberate steps. And every morning, as he read, remembered, and acted, he proved that words, when lived, truly do become the actions that change our world. Thank you for watching this episode of Mind Awakening TV. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an awakening moment. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and let's continue the conversation. Stay curious and keep expanding your mind.